as much as the economy is doing whatever it's doing, the federal government always have money allocated towards these contracts for years. That's already been done. So they still need to spend that money, which means there's still always going to be work.
You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Well, hey, tough time to make it in business for sure, but the person you're about to hear from can open up perhaps some new horizons for you, some new things you never thought of, and a way to keep making it. You know, Will Rogers once said, invest in inflation. It's the only thing going up. Well, that's certainly true today, but also going up is government spending. So that might be your ticket to really keeping your business above water, even prospering in these tough times. Jason, it's great to have you on the show. So government contracting, panacea, is it your key to success?
It is. Kerry, thank you for having me on the show. I think it's been my key to success along with some other things, but definitely federal government contracting, because there's 3 different levels. So I speak from the federal level on.
All right, but all levels of government, of course, are spending money. So what works at the federal level can work at the state and local level too, right?
It can. I just don't know anything about the state and local because the little procedures that they have in the state and local are a little different. But you're absolutely right. Government spending money regardless of the level.
Yeah, it reminds me of a movie I once saw. I can't remember the name of it now, where these 2 guys,
war dogs.
War dogs. Yeah, like so they start contracting all these small contracts for the military. At one point, they're going across a war zone in Lebanon to get the weapons delivered to their client.
Yes,
but I assume you're not risking your life to go do this. There's an easier path.
Correct. Let me backtrack. War Dogs wouldn't have never been a movie if they would have never sourced ammunition from China. If they would have just stayed away from that, they would have never had a movie because they was doing everything else by the book. But yeah, I'm definitely not risking my life. It's another way to do it. The way I do government contracting is pretty simple. There's a ask or a request from the federal government. Then there's a company out there that can provide or fulfill that request. I'm just marrying the 2 together and putting those 2 into a position to help each other at the same time.
So you don't even have to take any risk of fulfillment or whatever, right?
Yeah. So technically, I am the risk taker because the federal government is dealing with me. They're really not dealing with the partner. My paperwork, my name is everything on the paperwork, but the company is fulfilling the product or the service in lieu of my name.
How hard is it to find these opportunities?
So it's fairly easy. sam.gov, sam.gov, and there are 96,000 federal government contract opportunities every single day. So it's not hard at all. It's relatively easy.
Hey, so you think I could do this?
Absolutely. Listen, you got a Zoom call and you got on the computer, and I'm pretty sure you talk on the phone throughout the day as well. That's all you need.
All right. So what are the best opportunities out there for somebody like me who knows absolutely nothing?
So here's the thing, right? I tell people all the time, I don't know how to fix cars, but one thing I can do is drive my car to the auto mechanic so they can fix it for me, right? So all we have to know is what the expectations are, and we can get the expectations from the federal government. The federal government says, hey, I need 10,000 pencils. Cool, no problem. I can go find a manufacturer, a company that's willing to partner up with me to source these 10,000 pencils. So as long as we know what the expectations are, then we can go find the correct partner to fulfill whatever the product or the service is.
Okay, so you don't really care so much what the contract is, just that you can fulfill it, find somebody to do it.
There you go. I don't care what it is because I'm not doing the physical part of that contract. I'm doing the brain operations of that contract. So whatever it is, there's somebody that can help me source or do that service.
So what's the weirdest thing you ever sourced for the government?
The weirdest thing is probably, well, I mean, let me take you back. I knew it was a pandemic before it was a pandemic. So in 2017, the federal government asked me for 82 million gloves. Now, do it look like I'm a guy that has 82 million gloves just sitting around my
Where would you put them? Where would you put them?
Right, exactly. So I gave them a price point. This 2017, they got my price point. They didn't come back to me to the end of 2018, around the middle, towards the end of 2018. They said, "Hey, is that price still the same? Do you still have those amount of gloves?" I said, "The price still not the same, but I can find those gloves." Anyway, did the contract with them for those gloves, 2019. What happened?
Yeah.
The start of the pandemic. It was crazy.
Imagine if you were selling masks, what you could have done.
Oh my goodness gracious! Had I known, I would have got them some masks too. But they asked me for the gloves, and that before the pandemic, that was pretty weird. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and other PPE. What has been the most profitable thing you ever sold to the government?
The most profitable service. So I do products and service. The most profitable service is armed and unarmed security. So those contracts are typically around 4 and 5 years each contract. And then they typically like the service, so they continue to roll that contract over.
So is this for what type of security, like for agencies?
So unarmed is like your Brinks. I'm sorry, armed is like your Brinks and your, delivering the money bags from this location to that location. Then unarmed, it is where they're just guarding some access. It might be like a statue or a museum. So they want to source armed and unarmed security guards for that service.
All right. So, you hear all sorts of stories about how the government pays slowly, if at all. You ever had any problem getting paid by them?
No, Karen. So that's why I was trying to give you the distinction between the state, federal, and local. The federal level doesn't have those issues. At least since I've been doing it since 2008, I haven't had issues of the federal government paying slow or not at all. Anytime I've ever had an invoicing issue, it was user error. I put the wrong PO number, or I just didn't put the right dollar amount. But it wasn't on the federal government, it was me.
And how fast do they pay you?
So everybody is your contract typically is on a net 30, right? So the product or service is delivered first, and then the federal government, after invoicing, has up to 30 days to pay you out. Now, you can, during the proposal process, ask for a net 10 to be paid in 10 days or a net 0 to be paid on delivery. But net typically is a net 30.
Yeah, they're going to it's the government after all, right?
They're going to take they will take the whole 30 days now. They will do that.
Yeah, they'll pay you on the 29th and a half day, right? So it goes in your bank and they wire you the money, right?
Yeah, it's direct deposited right into your account that you put on your registration when you first become an approved vendor for the federal government.
You ever had any disputes with them as far as they weren't happy or whatever?
Listen, yes. Because remember, it's not me actually doing the work, it's another company. So I'm relying on that other company to be who they say they are, have the excellent customer service and the personnel. So sometimes there are those issues that person just wasn't truthful with me, or that company wasn't truthful, and now I got to communicate. But one of my strongest assets is communication. So once I can feel that this company isn't who they say they are, but they're already working on my federal government contract, one thing I have to immediately do is communicate that with the federal government. Most people think if you mess up with them, you're going to get blackballed and never get a contract again. That's not even remotely close. The federal government wants to work with small business. That's their thing. They like to praise for the mountaintop. We give small businesses all this money. So they're not looking to, ask you out as a partner, but they are looking for utmost communication and honesty. And if you're able to do that, a lot of issues can just be dealt with or swept under the rug.
Okay, and they're not worried about you contracting out these contracts?
No, it's actually a rule that allows you to sub out the contract. Now, when you see certain contracts, they'll tell you, hey, we don't want this to be subbed out. We want the person to actually do the work. So those are hands off. But at least about 98% of all the federal government contracts, they allow those to be subcontracted out because they know a lot of these contracts, you need help anyway. You're going to need to partner up if you can't fulfill or to have the personnel.
Okay, how does it work with preferences for minority and women-owned businesses? Does that give you a leg up?
A lot of people think it does, but it doesn't. So do you go to Vegas often, Kerry?
Not anymore. I was tired of making gifts to the casinos.
So, when you're walking around the basic casino, boom, and then you can see the high roller table.
Right.
But when you go to the high roller table, they're still in there, but it's just a smaller amount of people that can gamble at that level. That's all the certifications do. The minority, the woman-owned, the veteran-owned, the service disabled veteran-owned. You still have to bid, but you're only bidding now against a smaller pool versus the larger pool. But it's no preference.
Right. All right.
Yep.
So it might give you a little advantage because less people are bidding, but it's not going to win you the contract.
No, and a lot of people think just because they have that shiny new sticker that says, hey, look at me, I'm a service disabled veteran, that they're going to automatically win a contract, not knowing they still got to understand and learn the bidding process. It's just not given to you.
And that was my next question for you. So bidding, how do you come up with prices enough so that your subcontractors going to make money and you're going to make money?
Yeah, good question. So one of my, like I told you, one of my keys to success is communication. So I'm going to let the subcontractor know, hey, I am actually going to put some money on top of your quote. So I need your quote to be at the lowest price where you're still making money, so I can still put a little bit of change on there for myself because I am in the middle of this deal.
Sure. Hey, so do you go to multiple subcontractors and bid out one contract?
Gary, before I became in a relationship, I dated multiple women. I gotta see what is the best fit.
Hey, how do they feel about that? They want to think they're the only one in the world that's right for you, Jason.
Well, I told you one of the things is my communication. Hey, I'm dating. So one of the things I do with the subcontractors is no different. I just say, hey, listen, I need a quote. I'm not guaranteeing you that you're going to get this job with me, but I just need to know how much are you charging me. And I go do that for 2 or 3 other people so I can price compare.
Hey, so is it easier to make money in this business now or harder?
Yeah, so it's easy. Remember, as much as the economy is doing whatever it's doing, the federal government always have money allocated towards these contracts for years. That's already been done. So they still need to spend that money, which means there's still always going to be work for me to partner up with somebody because those contracts are always rolling.
It reminds me of that scene. I think it was in Full Metal Jacket where they're in Marine training, and the sergeant says, men will live and die, but the Marine Corps is forever. And so is the government too, right?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So if somebody wants to get into this, if you want to get into it, what kind of resources do you need besides a Zoom connection and a telephone?
So you have to have an LLC, right? So the federal government doesn't do people to business. They do B2B, business to business. So as long as you have a LLC, a S Corp, or a formulated company, you can take that company and register that into sam.gov, and then you ready to go. It's not, that's why I like to deal on the federal level. On the federal level, you don't need 2 years of experience or need to be in business for 2 years or have experience and all this other stuff that the other levels want you to have. At the federal level, just register a brand new LLC. If you have a sketchy past, congratulations, because they're making sure that you have an LLC, not your personal background. And after you get registered, you're ready to rock and roll.
Okay, cool. Hey, so you coach people on how to do this?
I do. So I've been coaching now since 2020, and we have over 6,500 students. And out of those 6,500 students, they've been successful at being awarded federal government contracts to the tune of $55.3 million. So
that's amazing.
We're very proud of our students and our community, and I'm just continue to build it.
All right. Hey, geographically, doesn't matter where you are. There's some parts of the country that's better to do this than others, or you could be in Alaska or Hawaii or what?
You could be anywhere, because that's why I like to deal on the federal level. There's a federal facility in all 50 states. So even if you're in Florida and I'm in Texas, but we both see an opportunity for a contract in Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, there's somebody out there that can do the work, and we just partner up with them to do it where they are, not where we are.
So you mentioned security, unarmed and armed. Give me 3 other areas you think there's real opportunity.
Real estate, janitorial, landscaping, and IT services.
Aha. Interesting. So real estate management, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the federal government looks to lease buildings all the time. So their lease is either running out or they want to find a better opportunity to lease. So they will put out on the tender or the solicitation and say, hey, look, we're looking for this size building, this location. So that's a major thing for all those realtors out there that's kind of struggling with the, residential side. The commercial government side is a space that they need to be in and paying attention to.
Even though all those buildings in DC are half empty because everybody's still working from home, right?
There you
go. And never going back.
But guess what's running in those buildings? Those security, IT stuff, and have those laptops that they work from home, they're still running from some type of software in those buildings.
Amazing. All right. Hey, how do you connect with people? How do we find out about you and on the internet, et cetera?
Oh, man, that's too easy. So if anybody goes to Instagram, you can go there at I am Jason White _. So that's I am Jason White _. Then my website is the Federal Code, CODE.com, thefederalcode.com. And there you'll be able to connect, see what programs that we offer, and just dive into this world of federal government contracting.
All right, man. Hey, well, the link is in the show notes to this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. You can also text Jason's phone to find out more about it. That'll be in there as well. And hey, if you got a question for Jason or myself, shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. And when you go to the site, you could just click right through to Jason's site, thefederalcode.com. And while you're there, please sign up for a free newsletter. Jason, amazing. Keep up the great work, and I love hearing your story.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Kerry, for having me.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.